Hey everyone, so today we're going to be giving you a quick rundown on the Kea Horizon. So this is going to be a quick reference guide. We'll start on the outside as I normally do. So over here is where you plug into power. This is your 240 volt plug point. That point there, you want to lift this up like so, slot that in there like so, and just push it in. Normally when you're at a campsite, you'll have a plug like this. Just lift that up like so and plug it in, and that automatically starts charging the battery, and you can use your microwave and all the 240 points. And over here at the bottom is your grey water valve. So you just have to undo that cap, connect it up to the hose, and empty the grey water in an authorized dump station, as well as the toilet. And drain the grey water is just over here. All you have to do is undo this cap, connect up the grey water hose. So over here we've got the toilet cassette. To open the toilet cassette, you need this black key over here, and then you just pull the handle and open it. The flush is drawn directly from the water tank, so you don't need to worry about topping up anything. And to remove the toilet cassette, you just lift this lever here and you pull it out. If for some reason it's not ejecting, it's because the toilet is not closed, and you should see that now. It's just underneath here, so just move that like so. So if that's not closed, then you cannot eject this cassette. Decide and dump it at an authorized dump station. There's plenty of videos on that if you're unfamiliar on how to do that. Down here on the driver's side, we've got the shut-off valves, the LPG shut-off valves. So just with this key here. So you got one for your gas hob and one for your gas heater. Refer to the manual if you want any more info on that. Here's your gas bottle over here. Again, you just use this key to open and close this. One 9 kg gas bottle. So we'll open this because we're going inside now. This is your hot water heater. If you just want to double check that your hot water heater is on, just run your hand up and down there slowly. You should feel warm air coming out of there. So that's how you check that. Sometimes if the wind picks up and it blows into here, it can blow out the flame. In that scenario, just turn the motorhome around. Moving on to the passenger side, on the rear, we've got storage here. This is where, again, you just use that one black key. This is where your grey water hose and your fresh water hose is kept. And this is also where you'll find your awning pole. Just look at it up there. And this is the safe, if anyone's curious. It's just underneath that seat over there. So that's the safe, and you get quite a bit of storage on this particular model. This is the awning. I'll show you how to do it on this one. Undo this wing nut here, undo this wing nut here, and you want to open those tabs up there. Push that up like so, push the other tab up like so. Then you want to take this, put that in there, and literally just pull the awning out. It's a bit hard doing it with one hand and holding the camera, but I'll try my best. So you get the idea. You just keep pulling it until it comes out, and then when you're done with it, you want to slowly, gently push it in. Never put it out on a windy day. It's the safest to leave it closed if the day is not looking good. But on a bright sunny day, you can go ahead, feel free to use it. When you're done with it, lock that tab there. If this one doesn't align, all you want to do is just grab this and just give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then that just locks in there. Then you can go ahead and lock this, and you can go ahead and lock this. And over here we've got a fresh water tank fill. This is where you fill in your fresh water. Again, just use this one key, put that there, and that's where you fill the fresh water. The 2 gold keys, as per normal, is for the door. So this is your main deadbolt, and this is your house door key over here. So stepping inside now, when we turn around up here, we've got the TV, and this is your main control center. We'll turn on all the lights. You've got your tank monitor over here at the top. You've got your volt gauge over here, which shows you when the solar is charging the battery and when you're running. If it drops below 12 volts, you'd want to start the engine, if that happens at night. So now that we open the gas bottle outside, turn on the water pump. The water pump went off, so that's a good sign. If it doesn't go off, make sure you open one of the taps to let out the air. And now we'll switch on the hot water heater. Wait till this red light goes out. Then when the red light goes out, that means the water heater is on. I don't know if you heard that. That was the igniter starting up. And now the red light has just gone into a dim amber, so that means it's on at the moment. Turn on the range hood for the extractor fan and the lights over here at the top. And for your stove top over here, is just hold it in and just light one of these up so you can just check and see if there's gas in the line or if your bottle's low. So as you saw there, it went off. So that's a safety feature on these camper stoves. So what you want to do is light it, hold this knob in for about 10 seconds. There's a little safety isolator just up there near the flame. Once that gets warm, then you can let go and then you can adjust the flame. It's just there in case in a worst case scenario, if the wind blows the flame out, that'll prevent gas from escaping and filling up your motorhome. That just cuts the gas supply. So now we know there's gas in the bottle and there's no air in the line. You can shut that off. Similarly, if you want to light the other one, straightforward, push, hold, push the ignition, just hold it and it will stay on. You've got one electric element there, so when you're plugged into power, you don't have to waste your gas. So all you do is just turn that switch on and then you turn this on and then you just control it via the knob here, and that light comes on to indicate that that's running. Now because I've plugged into power, the microwave will work like so. Your ACC on this particular model controls your TV. Normally your remote is located at the top there. So while that's starting up, then this is the radio. That's also
plastic objects, bags and hard bits of plastic they swallow.
So that's the TV, and the radio is self-explanatory. You can tune it and stuff like that. So when you turn off ACC, both those two go off. Your diesel heater is over here. So all you literally do is just turn it on to the on position fully and then let it run and let it go through its cycle. And that'll operate, and then you can dial it back to whatever temperature you want. So that's located over here. Refer to the manual if you need more instructions on that. This glass top, make sure it's always closed when driving. And also make sure you always close this tap before closing this down. Also this cooktop over here, make sure you don't shut it when the grill is on or any of the stove burners are on, or if they're hot, make sure you don't close the glass top. Make sure it's cold before doing that. Fridge, if we come on to this side, you got a thermostat over here. So you can set it to 0 if you're not using it, or you can turn it on if you need to. So that's how you do it over there. Just depends on the type of model fridge you have fitted. So with your fridge, make sure it's in the closed position when you're going to be using it for your when you go out camping or when you go out on your trips. And then when you're finished with your trip, make sure you turn this to the vent position So if I show you underneath here, it'll make itself clearer. So this is the vent position over here underneath. This is the closed position. So all it does, it just leaves the door open by a couple of millimeters, so that moisture and mold does not build up in here. Because after a long trip, you'll have water in the fridge, so you want to vent all of that out, and you don't want the fridge to be shut. So always keep it in the vent position, and that's what it looks like when it's in the vent position. Show you the fridge as well. So the fridge is fairly efficient, and you control it via this thermostat over here. So if you want to turn it off, turn it to 0, and if you want to set it to your desired temperature, just set it to whatever you want. This is quite important, this part here that slides. So I don't know if you can read that, it says to vent and to lock. So when you're not using the motorhomes, or after a long trip, you want to slide this to the vent position, because you want to leave this fridge a bit open, because you don't want moisture to build up there and basically cause mold. So you want to leave the fridge to vent and get rid of all the extra moisture. And that's pretty important, so don't forget to do that. Your bathroom is over here. You've got 2 doors that you can shut here, there and there, and that creates a separate area for your shower area, which is quite good on these Kea Horizons. You've got your sink over here, cupboard space at the top, cupboard space at the bottom, and a swivel toilet bowl here. So this is the lid I was talking about. Make sure it's always closed before trying to eject the cassette out there. And to open and close it, it's just underneath here. So just move that like so. Flush, that'll operate when the water pump is on. If you need any instructions, it's normally located over here. Keep that closed, always keep that closed before driving. And you've also got a vent over there, so this area heats up in winter when you turn on the diesel heater, which is quite a nifty design. So moving on to the rear lounge area, fairly straightforward. You've got large opening windows everywhere, and to make this rear section into a bed, you need to put this table down, which I'll show you now. So all you have to do is undo this mount here, undo that mount over there. Pull out the table like so. Take this leg out. You can store it underneath here in the storage area or wherever you feel convenient. Then what you want to do is take this table over here. Place the table like so in there, in that area, and then you use your... So when you have this rear area converted into a bed, when you put the table down, you need these 2 squabs. You need X and you need P. So that's how you identify these 2 squabs over there. If you're ever in doubt, just refer to your guide. So it's mentioned clearly in your manual, which will be provided to you. So P goes in this section here. P goes there. So that's it. So P goes over there and X goes over there. And that's what that looks like. I know it can confuse a lot of people. So that's how that looks like when that bed is made up. And when you're done, you can take these squabs off. And it's just a reverse of removal. It's fairly straightforward. So your ladder is normally just stored at the top here. So it's in the position here at the moment. You want to just put it here and it just stays down there. So this is what the top bed looks like over here. So with this top area, when you're not using it as a bed, you can also use it as a lounge, because I don't know if you can see, there's a separation over there and there's a latch over here. You can just undo this latch like so, move the ladder aside, And then this is just on rails, so this just pushes back. So what you need to normally do is, when you get up here, when you get up to the top there, you just fold that down like so. And when you fold it, you just have to push this. So once you have it made up, that's what it looks like. So it's just a top lounge area, and the kids usually like it there because you can pull this TV out as well. So this TV is on a swing bracket, so you just pull that out like so, and that's quite good. It's a good entertainment area. Plus it also gives you extra room to go into the front cabin area, which we'll be covering later, all the Mercedes front end. So that's what that looks like when that's made up. When driving, just make sure you pull this back, and this is locked because you don't want this going back and forth and distracting you while driving. So just make sure that's locked when driving as well. And then the ladder can go up there and just live up there, just like so. The ladder can go up there. You've got plenty of storage on this model everywhere at the top. Don't really need to cover that. Your microwave and 240 volt plug points will only work when you're plugged into power. And you've got some USB charge points here, and a little cigarette lighter socket as well, which you can use to charge things up. So when you come to your front dining area here, you have a lot of extra squabs, which I'll show you how to use those soon. But without the squabs, which you can just leave up the top or anywhere you feel convenient, you have a nice lounge area over here. 2 seat belts are here, the third seat belt's there, and your fourth seat belt's normally in this seat over here. And then you've got your additional 2 seat belts, seats at the front. These seats swivel on this particular model, so the handbrake goes down, and these seats swivel with the arm at the front over here. Just over here, you just have to lift up like so. Once you lift that up, then you can just swivel the seat around like so, so that again becomes a nice lounge area. It's quite a large area over here. This handbrake, you can fold it down like so without touching the button, and you can pull it up. We'll cover that in detail soon when we come to the front cabin. But just worth noting, that's a folding type handbrake. And when you're done with the swivel seats, just make sure it clicks in like that. You always want that to click in, it's quite important. Now moving back to the lounge area over here, I'll give you one more look at it. Like I said, it's a massive lounge area. And when you want to convert this into a bed, you need to remove this table. That table lives over here at the back. There's a little tie as well that holds it down, which I'll show you. So when it's in the top position like so, that means the table is locked onto that rail. So you want to push that down, push that down. That means it's in the release position. Once it's released, we can just lift it up. And then you just push this little tab over here and fold it. To convert this area into a bed. Okay, so when you have removed that table, to make this area into a bed, what you need to do is, there's multiple options that you can set up here. You can even set this up as a little U lounge. This just pulls out like so. So normally what you need to do is you need to lift it up. It's just a bit hard doing it with one hand. Lift it up like so, and then you pull that leg down over there. Similarly over here, just lift up. Lift up like so. Pull that down. That pulls out. So when that pulls out, we need all these cushions, if you notice, are labeled. So if you look at the quick reference guide that's normally supplied, you'll see all the labels over here. So A goes down here. And H goes over here at the top. So when you have A and H, so that becomes your U lounge over here at the rear. And when we want to turn into a full bed, we have to pull both these two out. So this one's a similar setup where you just pull this out like so. Lift up and pull that leg down. Finally, this one is the tricky one that catches people out. Sometimes it's easy if you just remove this squab here at the top, if it's too difficult. So you notice that when you pull this, it gets stuck. You have to actually lift this up like so. Then you have to drop the leg down a little bit. And then you pull it out. And then you drop the leg down. So just remember that. Because of this mount over here, you have to do that. So you have to lift this up, drop the leg down a little bit, then pull it out, then drop this leg out like so. And the last squab over here, which is A, goes here. So that's how you make your middle bed, and then you can get rid of these squabs if you want. If you're a bit taller and it's not enough space, you just remove all of those, and that gives you this whole area. So that's how you convert this lounge area into that bed. So when you're done, just reverse the removal. Remove these squabs. Like I said, this one here is the hardest. Just watch out for your fingers. Don't jam your fingers while doing this. If you notice here now, it's hitting that little bar. So that's what I was talking about. So that's the reason why we need to lift this up like so. Put that down. And push that in like so. The rest of them are easy. It's just that one you got to. So if you're looking from here, that one over there is a little bit difficult. So just keep that in mind. The rest of them are just as straightforward as just lifting it up, folding that leg in, and closing it up. So we'll show you from a different angle. And that's how that's done. And as mentioned, this table just goes at the back there and just stays in there, slots in there neatly. And so that's what that area looks like. And finally, you've got blinds on all the windows everywhere. All your lights here as well, you've got independent control on any of these small lights that you see, or these reading lights. Finally, make sure you turn everything off here while driving. So everything goes off apart from the fridge. That's the only thing that can stay on. Make sure your hot water system and everything else is turned off. Gas bottles closed. All of anything that you kept outside, your step or anything of that sort. Oh, if you kept outdoor chairs or anything like that, barbecues, just make sure you keep that in. And make sure you're not plugged in before driving. So just make a checklist. It's always good to have a checklist, and that'll help you a lot. Also, you've got multiple roof vents over here in this model. 1, 2 over there. Make sure you close those on a windy day and while driving. Never have that open when driving. And you've got curtains at the front there. So apart from that, I'll put up the quick reference guide now as well, so because it can be a little bit confusing, this model, for the squabs and how to make the beds and stuff like that. So that'll come up now. And then we'll move on to the front area over here, and I'll explain everything at the front cabin. And if you have any questions, always refer to the manual. So With this particular model, we've got a folding handbrake over here, and that's something quite important to keep in mind. So that folding handbrake allows you to swivel the seat. So I'll show you how that operates. When it's in the activated position, do not touch that front button. When you want to drop it down, all you have to do is just literally just push down. Just push down like so. As long as you don't touch that front button, it'll stay activated. Now here, coming to the front, depending on what model you have, you'll either have this touchscreen system here, or you won't. Just depends on what was fitted as an optional extra. So with your key here on this particular model, you just put it in here. That is position 1, where the radio and everything comes up. Position 2 is when the ignition lights and the glow plugs and everything get activated. Normally leave it for about 8 to 10 seconds in the morning, just so the glow plugs activate. And with your foot on the brake, all you have to do is literally just turn that once and it starts up. Your headlights are located over here. So this is your park lights and this is your low beam. When you want to go to high beam, you've got to come around to this side, the stock over here. This controls your wipers and your high beam indicator. So all we need to do is, if I pull this down so you can see it, just push and that activates your high beam. For the wipers, just turn it and that turns on the wipers. And when you want your sprinklers, just push in. So all you have to do is literally just push in like so, and that activates your sprinklers. This, I'll turn this off so you can hear me. This over here is your limiter and cruise control. So when you want cruise control, you just pull back once. So say you're driving at 50 kilometers an hour, just pull back once, that'll activate cruise control, and you'll notice your speed will come up on the dash. To adjust the speed up and down, you either go up or down, and to cancel, you just push back again. For the limiter, what you want to do is, I'll put on the ignition so you see the light come on. So now the limiter is off there. So when the light's not on, it's off. When you push it and that orange light illuminates, that means it's activated. So it activates from whatever speed. So say you're traveling at 40 kilometers an hour and you don't want to exceed that. When you're at 40, all you do is just push that and that activates the limiter and that switches on. So that's straightforward. It shifts just like a normal automatic car. So you just put your foot on the brake and you can put it in reverse. That'll activate the camera if you have that fitted. Neutral, and then you can put it in drive. If you want to shift it manually, then you can basically put it in drive and then just go left to shift down, right to shift up. And if you're in the manual mode and you want to go back to drive, all you do is just keep pushing this until you come to drive. Okay, so coming back to the handbrake, see, it's still in the lower position now, the folded position. So if we pull it up with our foot on the brake, you want to lift, so you want to pull this up, then release the button, then the handbrake will go down like so. And when you activate it, you should hear the clicks. So then you know that it's properly activated. So just remember that tip. When you want to fold it, do not touch the button, just push down. But when you want to deactivate it, pull it right up, pull first, then push the button in, and then release it down, like so. So coming to the main control center over here, these are your adjusters for your different modes. So your front, blower vent, lower, upper, that's all fairly straightforward. This is recirculation. So when you want your AC to recirculate, you just push the AC and then you push that to recirculate. This is your fan speed. And this is your heater controller over here. Your cigarette lighter socket is over here. You can use it to charge your phones and stuff like that. So you got one here. This one is switched through ignition. And you got another one down there, but be careful of that one because that's permanent power. So if you plug something in there and you forget it, you will kill your battery. So keep that in mind. That's quite important to know. If you got this particular type of head unit fitted as an extra, you can basically connect it to your phone. So you can hotspot your phone data to this for navigation, or if you're at home, you can your Wi-Fi system. So all you do is hit that and you go through there and run your Wi-Fi. For your navigation system, you'll have to initially connect up to your phone hotspot or a Wi-Fi signal in order for this to initially load. I've got another video on how to download offline maps and stuff like that, but if you've got one of the new latest smartphones, usually the smartphones are a bit quicker than this, but if you didn't want to use the navigation system, all you have to do is connect this up. So I'll just quickly show you this. So all you do is pull down there, go there, hold this there, that goes to Wi-Fi. So you want to turn on Wi-Fi and you want to connect it up to either your hotspot, your own home internet, or something similar, or public Wi-Fi or whatever. When you have internet, this will all load, like I said, and then you can initially start using it. But you would want to download the offline maps, which you can see in my other video. The rest of it is fairly straightforward. You could play around with the Bluetooth and all that. That's quite self-explanatory. Apart from that, there's just the tools in this section here that we have to cover in the front cabin. So just over here, we've got factory Mercedes tools and hydraulic jack over here. So that's just something to keep in mind. So that's to allow you to access the spare wheel at the back. You need these tools in order to jack up the vehicle safely. Another thing, depending on your model of Mercedes Sprinter, you'll have these buttons over here. These basically just allow you to scroll through the different menus. Work quite well. For example, when you want to make a call, once you've synced up your phone to Bluetooth, you just basically push that button, and then you can go control the volume, pick up the call, hang up the call. You can run through all of that and change any of that if you want to. So if you want to change your menu over there in that screen, you just use these buttons over here, and then you can cycle through all the different modes, your odometer, your FM settings, and so on and so forth. If you want to go in depth on what all of that is, you just refer to the Mercedes manual, which is normally stored in your glove box over there. So that's what that is. Another thing over here at the front, this one here basically locks. If you look closely here, you push that once, it locks everything, locks all the doors. And then to open the doors, you basically, when you pull the handle, it'll allow you to exit and it'll open the door. Your mirror adjusters over here, you can only adjust the top bit of your mirrors through here. Your blind spot is manually adjusted, so once you set that, you leave it, it's permanently set. Left and right, straightforward. This is your headlight dip switch, so it allows you to set the angle at which your headlights point on the road. So the higher it is, you just basically want to try to keep it low so you don't blind oncoming motorists. And finally, coming onto this side, you might notice this red light over here. That red light is basically when you're plugged into power. If you forget to unplug, that'll emit a loud buzzing noise, just to warn you that you're still plugged into power and that you need to disconnect. Otherwise you'll rip the lead off at the campsite, or if you're plugged in at home or similar. So that basically covers everything here at the front. Like I said, if you have any questions or if you're not sure of anything, just refer to that manual over there. It's quite good. It's very in-depth and it's got a lot of information. That'll simplify a lot of things. And also, one last thing, in case you're curious, this is just a paper clip holder, so you can just put your papers underneath here. You can put your checklist underneath here, so you just make sure that the power leads out, your steps and all your outdoor chairs and stuff like that. It's a nice place to keep it. You need to access your start battery. It's just located underneath here, so where your tools are kept, just underneath there, just over there. It's just good to know that. If you have any questions, always refer to the manual, Mercedes manual, which is located over there in the glove box, or the manual that's provided with the camper. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this was of some help to you.
And make sure to come to an authorized dump station. Refer to the manual, and you can check on the internet where these are located, and at information places around New Zealand where the dump stations are located. Put the 2 tabs down. Take your waste hose. Open up your dump station lid. Yeah. Come here and open up your valve underneath, and your water will start to flow out. This is just for demonstration purposes. The tank is already empty. So once it's empty, you close the valve underneath. Undo these 2 levers here. Take this out. Lift your pipe up. Like that. So all the water, if there is any, comes up. Make sure to not forget to put the dust cover back on. Put it on and push these 2 levers down with your other hand.
Make sure the toilet is closed inside the cabin before doing this.
Yeah, if the toilet lid is not closed,
the cassette will not eject.
And to empty it, you turn this out, open this cap here, keep the cap at the side, and you lift the cassette up and you dump it. And you dump out the load. To make it go faster, you can push on this yellow button here. And then you can take some water, if there's a tap around here, and just put some more water in here. And then just give it a shake, gently shake it all around, and then dump it again. You can do this 3 or 4 times to clean the toilet, and then just fill it up once you're done with a little bit of water at the bottom. You can close the cap.
Now it's indicating a fault. So this system will keep trying to light. It'll do it for about 3 to 4 times. If it's unsuccessful in all those scenarios, then it'll immediately default to just a red light. So when that red light is off, that means the ignition on the gas boiler is on. So another way to check it is we'll go outside. If you listen closely, you can hear it running. So if you just gently move your hand up and down here, you'll feel the heat coming out. And there's quite a bit of heat at the moment, so you know that's on at the moment. Now sometimes with these Suburban type water heaters, it's quite easy for the wind to go in here and actually blow off the flame. So in that scenario, you want to turn the camper around so it's not facing the wind. They're quite straightforward. So say for instance, that red light keeps coming on and stays on. There's several reasons why that could be happening. Number one, check the gas bottle. Just make sure it's got gas in the bottle. Secondly, it's those valves at the back, what I pointed out in the gas compartment. Make sure they're all on the on position. Thirdly, check your voltage. Sometimes if your house battery is below 11 volts, realistically it shouldn't be below 12 volts, but if it does drop below that, you will not get a proper ignition and the gas hot water heater will not ignite. So basically, if that red light comes on, then that indicates a fault and you want to run through all the possible scenarios.